Hello everyone. So welcome to a weird ass video about a weird ass game. This is the beginner's guide. I think it's about a developer and how he makes games. Kind of like, okay, so there were videos about this game like way back in the day, like maybe 5 to 6 years ago, and I kind of saw them, but I don't remember exactly what happens and stuff. Like, yeah. Anyway, so I was actually planning on streaming this game, but it's like, what's the point of streaming if people are not gonna watch from start to the end? So I'll just make it an entire video with no edits, no clips, like no cuts at all. Let's just see how it goes. I know this is a random ass project and I might just not upload it, but let's see. We'll just begin and see how it goes. Please make sure the audio is on. It is, it is. Standard.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made.
Counter-Strike.
For Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just
Fuck memories.
Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but
I miss
they
CS.
are all
I
going
hate
to
it,
give
but I
us
miss it.
access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really
So basically,
is.
it's his friend
And
who's the
that's
developer.
exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his
What am I
computer's
supposed to do here?
recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again.
Yeah, makes sense.
And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at
I'm excited now.
DAVEYWREDEN.
So basically, he's
Okay, that's about it for
using
introduction.
games
Let's take a
which
look
are
at Coda's
developed
first
by his
proper
friend.
game. As each game is loading,
Let's
I'll
see.
show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Alright. Yo. Is that loud? I think it'll be loud. No.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
What's the whisper? Whisper machine status
You
off.
can click to fire the gun.
What's the point? Can I break the door? No.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance,
Yo,
you have this
something's
gun,
glitching out,
which
Ola.
you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately, we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they
Something's
are,
there.
rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
Alright.
Begin ship evacuation.
I mean,
I love
Makes
how you can
sense.
see the bottom of the universe from this room.
ooh. Oh, that's nice. I mean, yes, it's a 2008 game which is just made for the aesthetics. I mean, aesthetics been he just wanted to create a game, that's all. It looks good though. Wait, which door? Help, loot. Okay. The maze. Nice.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
What? Wait a second. Did I think I completed the maze and then he like teleported me to this spot.
Okay, this is the part that's
All right.
interesting.
Weird.
The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hmm. Oh, that's cool.
You there, in the engine room.
Oh wait, I can crouch.
You save us all.
Notice.
That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
Bro.
If your body could stop the beam.
Yeah, I figured.
But for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Wait, is it something like a decision that I have to make and if I die I have to restart? Fuck. Don't tell me. No, I did
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
So I'll do that again. Whoa. What the fuck? See, I did complete it. I
The
did.
beam causes you to start floating.
I
This
came
is
from
an
there.
important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something
Sorry.
human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system.
Big
Or this
words.
floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts
Can't
of
move, right?
directions.
No.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this
It's
one
like,
behind.
it's like an, how do I explain it? I can't move. Oh,
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
hold on. I have to look at both the directions. Oh. What?
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clear. Oh, fuck. Alright, I think I get. Yeah, I think I remember this. The kinds of games he makes. Everything has a deeper meaning. So, it's like when you stop and take a second to look at your surroundings, you understand what's actually behind things. You know, you start to understand the true meaning of things. Okay, Fuck, that's actually meaningful. So if I'm looking in a particular direction, I don't know what's ahead, right? But when I go to it, then stop and look, I'll see new things. How will she find the strength? Where do I go? Okay.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Wait. So I can't go to the green grass. Wait, you are now entering. So what happens if I go in this direction? No, Anthony, no. You are now entering, alright. What am I entering? Don't tell me this is some.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. That was weird.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Yo, this
I wish I'd
is
known him at the time when he
cool.
was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Going slower.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I'm pressing it. Okay, that worked. Wait, so it was absolute. What? The speed was like an. It wasn't an absolute halt. Like I can move and stuff, but yeah, it did this too. You are a gate. Play as a pair of flooring eyes
A
emitting.
room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Okay, very colored. Wait. अभी जो game
Coda
खेला
would
है.
often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You, what the fuck? You run a shop inside your own body, selling your organs strategically. Like, this is gonna get dark, man. I can feel it. Yes. The aesthetics is good. Like, I like the look of every single level. Brings me back to the old days. I think it works on the same engine that CS was made. Maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it works exactly,
Well,
but
this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
this is a puzzle. E to interact with that. That's fine, understandable. Wait, can I press E over here? Come on. What if I move backwards? Nothing? Oh wait, what if I close the door and stay inside?
Don't forget
Yeah.
that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it.
What are these three dots? I saw them before somewhere. Second level पे देखा था, कहीं तो देखा था. I'm not sure where exactly, but yeah. The background music is kind of creepy. Not gonna lie.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, Now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Yo.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
But wait. I mean, the player or the person playing wouldn't have been able to do that, right? Like, you would never know what's in the outside, what's happening on the outside. I think that's the whole point. You'll never know. You're not excited, right?
So this combined Coda believes his games are connected somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Okay. The great and lovely descent.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source.
Perfect.
Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly.
Sure.
One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors.
Oh.
That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty
Can I jump?
rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does
But I
well.
can't jump with mouse wheel. Do I have to go down? Oh,
Tools available
can't
to the
even look
creator
properly.
shape
My
what
mouse is
kinds
dying.
of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
No. Do I have to start again? Wait. Huh? Oh, I didn't Hold on. I wanna look up. Bro, can you stop dying on me? What the fuck's wrong with my mouse? I hate this. I hate this. Oh, Apex Legends done. So basically I was supposed to come down. I could have just jumped right at the start. Okay. There's a glass barrier over here. It's like a church. Don't you think? Like, imagine these are the seats. Yeah. No, it's more like a prison. What am I even saying? It's a prison. Bruh. No, don't.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
So he's basically helping us.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
And I'm actually doing the same thing. I'm trying to go and check out every single place to see if I'm missing out on something. I think that's the same thing he did. He played every single game, even though it was just a simple box. He played everything just to see if there was anything hidden inside of it. I think a lot of people tend to do that. Common ideology here, which is understandable. And 3 dots again. I'm telling you, signifies something in this game at least. Is this a game? I don't know anymore.
It's the puzzle again,
Puzzle.
with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Okay, this is weird. Yes, everything right till now has been weird, but this is just weird. If the path straight to the door is like simple, why would you have these things? I thought that you would die, that's why I went around it. Apparently not. It has to mean it probably means something to him, not to us. This is fun. I don't know. Like, I don't know where it leads to, so. Listen. Speak. How do I speak?
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Wait, all of these things happen, right? I'll just... Wait. Why won't you tell them? Okay, yeah, I can't trust them. I don't know who they are. Okay, I'm trying to understand what's going on. Okay. I'll try something different. See what's up. Who are you? I mean, that's what I want to know first. Go hang out in the blackness. You won't like it at first, but you'll get used to it, okay?
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
His voice is actually calming, like the narrator. Good choice, good choice. I mean, I don't know if this is actually true. He's using...
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something.
Oh, makes
He
sense.
wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Wait, so what do I do now? I mean, I get it. Okay. Fuck. This is actually interesting. So this is April 2009, around 5 months after that game. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. For real? How do I... Oh. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda.
Okay.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different.
Okay. I have goosebumps right now. Can you hear me? Question mark. This is the what? The fourth note? I think he's trying to reach out. Like, imagine writing all these notes for a game which no one is gonna play. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and listen to him.
Right away, I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person
exactly.
who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
That's actually kind of hard. I mean, think about it. It's actually like you don't have anyone you can talk to. You don't have anyone you can reach out to. And you just do the thing that keeps you interested. In this case, he's making games. And he's trying to talk as well at the same time to himself, or I don't know, like what's exactly happening. Okay, I'll skip I know. Skip through these notes. Okay, this is actually kind of like I already have this habit of overthinking everything. This is just making it worse. That's all. I'm trying to understand his POV, his side to all of this. Because right now I don't know if this is just a game or this is the actual truth, like this is what happened. Can I jump down?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle. that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Well, this doesn't make sense. How do you solve that?
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
What the fuck? Bro. Okay.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna
Once
kind of
does
just
die,
spin
no?
its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Wait. What did he say? This one is tough? Is this a puzzle? Can I press C somewhere? What? Wait. Did I see something? Hold on. Yeah, I knew I missed something, like... I never, looked out the window. Okay. Let's go back. It was a well, right? That's what a well is, I think.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly
Oh, I'm
interesting
inside the
about it.
well.
You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay. Was that really a prison? That wasn't a prison, right? He removed the furniture. Okay, now what about along the wall? I'll just press anything. 10 stoves. Okay, so it doesn't matter what I do, what I press. It's gonna lead to the same thing. So I'm just gonna... Okay, that thing, not this. And a table, you need a table, alright. We'll go with the table. So now the furniture is complete. Yeah.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Sure. I just sort of...
So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Follow the instructions carefully. First, click on this table. Done. Floor lamp. What's a floor lamp? Okay, this. Now go to the left side sofa. Move it over a little. Finally touch the shelves. These are the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your... Huh? The escape will now open. Return to the start to go back to your prison. Why would I go back to my prison? I think that's the idea of it. Yeah, return. Okay.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Really like messed up this game. I forgot. I had no idea. It got to me the first time I saw it. Like, I didn't see the whole thing, but I knew that. Okay. So the lamppost, there's no prison this time, but it's a level of the prison, I think. Let's see. I mean, if I'm a future, yes I was.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself.
Exactly.
You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Okay, I can't help but pause and think about it. Hold on. So he's talking to himself from the future and just grasping at straws that yes, whatever he's dealing with right now comes to an end, that there's a future where he's free, where it's different than the prison that he's in right now. It's messed up. So messed up. What's it like to escape? Let's be like good, kind guy. No, the first one is bad. I'll go with the second one. Makes sense. That's a good question. The paradox. No, I think I'm the first person. Okay, let's do this. How long does this go? He needs answer, I'll give him answers.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So, what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
I'm just gonna press
You'll
random
notice
things
that
now.
the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Where's the bedroom? Bathroom? Bedroom. Done. I want to clean this. While I'm working, I feel a kind of calm that rests in the bed of my ribcage. My soul just can't be soothed any other way, it seems, which I guess is about all that matters. Damn. Can I clean up? Wash the dishes, done. I didn't even see the bookshelf. Was it there before? I'm not sure.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just walked around.
What do you
with a
mean by
constant
grossly
smile on
happy?
his face.
It's a good thing, right? Friend is happy. Present he wants to smooth out the rug in the bedroom. What? Look at this. Ew. True. Can I go out?
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace. But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Wait. It was open the whole time? Why was I walking through doors? Oh well. And the lamppost.
which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right?
Yeah.
That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
September 2009. 1 year,
This
almost 1 year
gets
after
a bit goofy.
the first game. Forward.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
And I'm the professor. Yeah. Oh.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
The problems move with you. Yo, that's deep. So every single one of them, every single person has their own problems. Even the professor, even the teacher who you think is perfect, but she's not. She has her own problems who, like, the problems which she has, which don't leave her. I'm just gonna type it in, looking at this. Can I go up?
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have.
Yeah.
To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human.
That's
Think about this game a
so
lot these
deep.
days.
That's nice. I liked it.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange
Ouch.
at the time.
No, I have stage fright, bro. I have stage fright. Let me out. I don't care. I'm not performing in front of like millions of people. What's this? What? Wait, I can go there. I can see it past the drapes. No? Oh wait, sorry. Niche instructions are. First you'll start out by leaning against the wall. Stay right there. Gentleman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's a dream to photograph animals professional. I like you. Okay. Oh, fuck.
The game
Um,
ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw,
Yeah.
to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very helpful when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
That was dark. If I'm keeping my eyes closed, how will I know? Everyone's blind.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Huh? This is the truth. Oh my god.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So, where's that coming from? But then, even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new. If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Well, he's forcing himself, forcing the
Seeing his game
walls.
at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Why wouldn't you help your friend for 7 months? If you see this game, why wouldn't you help them? Or at least talk to them? Maybe I did. The machine calls itself Coda. Bro. So now I'm a different person. I have to fix Coda. This is Coda, this is the machine, this is the developer.
And of course, it's the machine.
So... Am I supposed to do something over here? I don't know. Wait, I have to press one. Fuck. Hold on. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Now this. What do I do now? Bro. So he's basically destroying his own creation. Everything. Just.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral?
Why would you show these things to the people?
Himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Isn't that like... Wouldn't that make things worse? I don't know.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Three dots. 3 circles. I think this is... Coda.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good.
Okay.
When
Yeah,
someone
that
really
makes sense.
connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like Like, I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Hmm.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
This is the last level, I think. Last game that this Coda person made.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
The
This room
Whisper.
actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Can I see the maze? I wanna see the maze. I mean, okay, I get it. But I wanna see the maze as well. Okay. So basically,
And to be
you
fair,
have
it's
problems
not
that
like
you
this is the
can't
first
see.
game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
1617, I never would have guessed it. Never. Harry Potter.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution. but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Same thing.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up? I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
It asks you not to speak to me anymore.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... It felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
What? What? Davy was the... His name is Davy, right? He's the one who is adding lamppost. He's the one who needed to
And
be...
you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
Davy was the one who needed to be saved, not Cora.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you
He's
want.
going down a spiral.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Alright.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
This is so messed up because you can't know who's right. You just can't.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
You're still doing it, aren't you?
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
External validation means a lot to some people, like more than you can think. It's like the only way for them to feel good about themselves, which is not a bad thing, but it's not a good way of looking at things. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
But I think this level was made specially for TV because the notes there. I think he violated privacy, and the person who needed help was him, not Koda. Will I die this time? Probably. They wanna end the game, so mine. No, same thing. Okay, now.
Turn back from this cave.
So, I think that's it.
You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles.
Anyway, so
And you
yeah,
were so tired.
I don't even have any comments after that game. Like,
I know that you're strong.
it was actually different. It just shows that you can't know what a person is dealing with, and if they're in a bad state, all you can do is just be kind and try to reach out to them if they need help. And reach out to them, don't try to find solutions that benefit you and not that person. I don't know, I mean, there are so many meanings, so many like morals to this game that I don't even know what I should highlight. Anyway, I think this is it. I'll end the video now. Well, yeah. I'll see you guys later. Have an amazing day or night whenever I upload this video, I'm not sure. Take care, everyone. It's been amazing. Peace.